So I'll get you to start off with your name and also what your brand name is.
I'm Donna Wiltshire, and my brand name is Vervi Collective.
Beautiful. And what is your product?
So my product is weighted vests for perimenopausal and menopausal women.
And before you started your brand with us, tell us about what you were doing beforehand. What were you doing for work and what made you want to start your own e-commerce brand?
So I'm still doing that for work. I work in communications, so I wanted to start eCom brand because I just want freedom. I want financial freedom and I want the freedom to choose. So whether that's, working 10 hours a day or working 2 hours a day. And I got involved with eCom after seeing Naira's ad. And I've been thinking about whether it's a side hustle or a completely different business for a long time. And I think I was just stumbling over the what to do. And two things really got me was one, I didn't want to swap my time for money. And the second thing is that you don't need to be super passionate about the things that you sell. And she was selling fishing shirts. So I thought, well, God, I don't think she looks like a fisher. So I think that I can do this. So that's kind of what's brought me from my corporate career into ecom, because I know it's going to give me the flexibility to earn lots of money and give me the freedom to spend with my family. But it's also going to challenge me and keep me learning and keep me doing the things I love.
What was your biggest hesitation before joining and what was it about eCom Capital that made you feel confident in taking that leap for yourself?
I was super hesitant around knowing what the hell I was going to sell. Like, I hear other people talk about their design something new and I haven't. And so I was hesitant about that, and certainly not having experience in e-commerce. I work in an adjacent industry, but it's not the same. So what really got me over the line was the detailed learning and the account support, knowing that I had a real person to ask questions to. And what I really loved is that all of the coaches are doing it in real life. They're not just teachers. So you know that they've had the struggles that you've had and they've overcome them. So it's real life experience that you're learning from. So far, that's been for me one of the best things to keep me propelling forwards. And I think the thing that got me initially was just knowing that you don't need to have everything worked out before you start.
You have been putting in so much epic work, seriously, from the start. So tell me, what is the biggest milestone or takeaway since starting your journey with eCom Capital?
Well, launching's pretty exciting. I've had a dream of having my own business, I think, kind of my whole life. Like, I saw a yearbook about a month ago, and in the comments for me, it was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want the corner office. And what I meant by that was, I want to be at the top. I want to be running my own business. So absolutely launching my own business. But when you talk about little milestones, and this seems silly, but actually putting myself in front of the camera, there is no way I would have done that, Like, you just have to get over yourself. And I did get over myself, and I have created my own content. So it's little, but it's big for me. You kind of have to chuck out what you thought you were and what you thought you could do, because it's kind of led you to where you are now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be where I'm at now. So I want to keep learning and going forward. So for sure, like, the growth is huge. It's so good.
In terms of revenue, what sort of numbers have you done?
I launched just under a month ago, and I have done about 2,500 in sales. So yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, no, getting there. Look, it's not as good as some of the other people, but yeah, no, getting there.
No, that is incredible. 2,500 in under a month is epic results. So you should be so proud.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I think it's 3.5.
So tell me about what it's been like having eCom Capital support you on that journey, even when you've hit any hurdles with your account. Like, what was the benefit of having your account manager there by your side?
So the best thing, I think, that in a way that eCom have set up their system is that you're not getting a generic coach. Each coach is targeted to the stage that you're at. So they're super knowledgeable and can give you that deep expertise. And I'm cynical. Like, I've worked in marketing and in the biggest businesses in Australia. So I think that the expectation that I have is high, and eCom's meeting that. But what I really love is that they're meeting it at your level. And you guys, you gave me just super duper practical. I need this question answered to get to the next step. And that's the access that you have. They set up all of these systems, so really practical systems like Slack, like school. So you've got all of these systems in order to get instant responses when you need them, so you can keep moving. It's not like you need to attend a session once a week and then you've got 5 days where you can't make progress. So I've just loved that. The one-on-one coaching that's really backed up by that classroom style, the online classroom style. So you get that practical workshop, but then also kind of seeing that learning by example. So you're seeing all of the other entrepreneurs in their own journey, having their own struggles, and they might ask a question that you haven't thought of. So I love that when that happens, because I think I can implement that in my business, you know? And so the structure is so good, I think, because it does certainly have the high level important, fundamental, but it kind of gets into the nitty gritty. And so that you're not stuffing around with stuff that I think a regular founder would.
If you were talking to someone who was on the fence about joining eCom Capital, what would you tell them?
Do it. As I said to you a second ago, like, I'm a skeptic. And one of the first classroom, the school
modules, yeah.
Sasha was like, if you're going to do one thing today, make your bed. And I've heard that before. But I loved that this real foundation was set, a real expectation was set. And there's so many organizations that don't set that expectation, right? So, you know, the hand holding in the best possible way is just epic. As I said, like, I've got lots of experience in like an adjacent field in marketing, but having you guys with all of the experience that you've got at our fingertips is priceless.
What do you think like that paradigm shift was for you from like being a skeptic to being like all in?
I think for me, the paradigm shift between being a skeptic and being all in was really the question that I asked myself, do you want to be in the same spot in 5 years' time? And for me, the answer was absolutely not. And so then the next question I had to ask myself was, do you reckon that you're going to be able to do this on your own? And the answer to that was nope. And so really that's what got me from being, I'm not sure about this, to I'm absolutely in. And I tell people about this and their reaction is, geez, Don, that sounds really good. And I'm like, it is.
Is there anything we haven't spoken about so far today that you feel like is really important to share?
I think if anyone is in a situation that I was in and is still like, but I'm not passionate about anything, but I've never done ecom before, but I'm already earning heaps of money in my career. I think you kind of ask yourself the question that I said, well, all of those things are fine, but like, do you want to be in the same spot in 5 years' time? Like, if you don't, then just jump in. It might cost you some money, but what have you got to lose?